It's an honor for us in the World Council of Churches to host this event and to see this as the place for a significant and very timely discussion as we have experienced tonight. And after this wonderful summary of the discussion, it's almost ambitious to come with a final word, but still I will use my privilege to do that. The World Council of Churches is not a European institution. That I have to say quite often. Not only here, but when I visit other parts of the world, we are not a European institution. However, we are a fellowship also of the European churches, particularly the Orthodox and Protestant churches, Anglican churches, who are members of the World Council of Churches. The World Council of Churches, since our 10th assembly in Korea in 2013, have said that we have one overarching motto, a perspective on what we do together. We are together on a pilgrimage of justice and peace. That's a way to link the work we do with the roots which we have discussed, the roots of our faith. Pilgrimage is a word we have never used before in the World Council of Churches, partly because some of us have learned in our catechism that pilgrimage is a sin. As a Lutheran, we were learning how Luther condemned pilgrimages. But it is possible to change the meaning of the words, also for a Protestant, and to see the potential of pilgrimage as an openness and willingness to move also in a critical approach and a self-critical approach for the sake of materializing what we hope. And this double movement, which is in a pilgrimage, self-critical, openness, affirming our hopes, our aspirations, is also what we express in this pilgrimage of justice and peace. I will not give you the whole program outline, but I will refer to my experience in the last days, being out of Europe, being first in a ecumenical advocacy event in Washington with Christians from the wide constituency of American churches, discussing what is racism in our time, which is, as you know, tearing again the United States apart. And I discussed it with one of those who have tried to address it from a Christian perspective, Jim Wallace, one of our partners from the ecumenical. He is particularly representing the evangelical part of the ecumenical work. And he has published a book called America's Original Sin. America's Original Sin. As a discussion about what is racism in America, historically and today, and how do we build bridges to overcome it. My first point is to say, if you ask the same question to Europe, what is Europe's original sin? I think you have mentioned many options for an answer to this during this very elaborated discussion. Maybe we are not used to use the phrase racism as it is used in the United States of America. But we have heard, and I think we have in our minds, similar words connected to the crisis we see, connected to the history of Europe, but also we can use racism. The big ideologies in the world that has created the most racist regimes in the world are Europeans. We have been to South Africa. From where came racism? We have been to the United States. Who have promoted racism? The European part of this continent. We have to see this is part of our roots as well. Anyway, I think you rightly have said it materializes today in a new form of nationalism, of protectionism, of exclusivism, capitalism, different ways to say, I'm A, you are something else, and we cannot be C together. if you don't believe that A plus B can be C, we cannot overcome, and we cannot see another future, whether we are Europeans or Americans or citizens of different states in the Middle East, as we have discussed also in a discussion that came from just recently in Atlanta about the future of Israel and Palestine. Is there a way, an ecumenical way forward? My understanding of the ecumenical movement is that it has deep roots exactly also in European experience and in European initiatives to overcome, but also to go beyond this reality of division. If anything, is the identity of the ecumenical movement is that it is birthplace is in a divided Europe, and how to build another Europe so that it also contributes to another world. And therefore it got very much involved in post-colonial processes, building a new reality together. What is the challenge for the ecumenical movement in this situation we have in Europe today? Is there a new contribution from the ecumenical movement to this situation? I would say definitely yes, but not an easy yes. Again, it has to be a double reflection. What is the ecumenical or the sin of the churches, and what is the potential of our contribution as churches? We have been part, and also maybe still a part, of the East-West divide of Europe and the South-North divide of Europe. We are also definitely part of the division between Europe and other parts of the world. However, we see signs like we have seen last week. Pope Francis and the Ecumenical Patriarch coming together in symbolic acts at Lesbos, which goes beyond symbolism, which goes into the deep reality and very concreteness of life and the threat. I talked to the chairperson of the German evangelical churches this week, as he prepared his visit to Pope Francis this morning. And he asked me if I had any issue he should raise. And actually I said, yes, you should raise one issue, and that is that Pope Francis should include the Protestant dimension of Europe in this symbolic act much more clearly, as he has started to do in Italy. But I think he should do it also on a European and on a global level, to give much more power and also much more accountability on the Protestant side to these processes. Your invitation to this seminar, I think, is a sign of the same idea. There is a huge potential in the ecumenical idea, but also in the ecumenical willingness to move forward. To move forward because we believe that something else is possible. As Christians, we believe both in the crucifixion of Christ as a sign of God's solidarity with all of us, but also in the resurrection, that in any situation a new reality is possible. And that, I think, is a contribution we should give in any discussion, also this discussion of Europe today. Together with other peoples of faith, ask how can our faith be a hope for all? Thank you.